Today, Secretary Duncan joins us to discuss President Obama's newly released blueprint for rewriting Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, as I said, for being with us. 2 weeks ago, you outlined President Obama's vision for providing a world-class education to every child in this country. You told us that the status quo is failing our students. You told us that a strong education system is key to our long-term economic stability, and members of this committee on both sides of the aisle agree. Right now, even our best students are performing at lower levels in math than students in 22 other countries. Nearly 80% of the U.S. students are entering the 9th grade unable to read at grade level. Excuse me. This has to change. It's time to overhaul and improve ESEA so that the law finally lives up to its promise to provide an equal and excellent education for every child in America. These improvements will require dramatic reforms to regain our role as a world leader in education. But if we are successful, I believe we can build a solid economic foundation for future generations. What our students need to succeed isn't a mystery. They need a challenging and rigorous learning environment tied to college and career-ready standards. They need creative and effective teachers who hold them to high standards and who can adjust their teaching strategies when needed. Innovative reformers across the country at the local level are making significant progress in many of these areas. Now at the federal level, we have to match their courage to disrupt the system and push the envelope. I believe that the blueprint that Secretary Duncan presents us offers a strong roadmap for this kind of system-wide change. 8 years ago, I helped write our current version of the ESEA, the No Child Left Behind Act. In many ways, the law was transformational. It helped shine a bright light on what was really going on in our schools. It told all of us, lawmakers, educators, parents, school boards, and the community, that it was no longer acceptable that any student to be invisible. It showed us how all students in schools were faring, not just the richest districts or the highest achieving students. The results were difficult for many to swallow, but it showed us the value of accountability in our excuse me, for our students. It provoked a conversation about education in this country that has gotten us to where we are today. My apologies, but I guess this is going to continue. But we know we didn't get everything right. The blueprint we'll hear about today rightfully gives some control back to the states and districts to allow them to determine their own best strategies to turn around their lowest performing schools. And it switches the conversation from one about proficiency to one about ensuring our students graduate ready for college and a career. We now have an incredible opportunity to help reshape the future of this country. The Obama administration has already launched a game-changing reforms for our school. Many states are taking unprecedented steps in the right direction. In my home state of California, the state legislature removed the firewall that prevented student achievement data from being linked to teacher performance, a move that was a long time coming. And in order to qualify for a second round of Race to the Top funding, California recently released the list of its 187 persistently unperforming schools. But California's recent actions and the actions of so many other states have signaled that they are ready to help fix schools that are chronically failing our students. As we take a close look at the administration's blueprint today, I'd like to lay out some of the fundamental goals of what we must address in this rewrite. We need to reset the bar for our students and for the nation. First, we need to ensure that every child can be taught by a great teacher, especially those who need them the most. Teachers are our single most important factor in determining student achievement, but all of the burden cannot fall on their shoulders. And yet we have 14% of our new teachers who stop teaching in their first year. More than a third leave teaching after 3 years. Almost 50% leave after 5 years. That would suggest there's something wrong with the workplace. We can't expect teachers to stay in a system that doesn't treat them with the same level of professionalism as other careers. We can support great teaching in classrooms across this country by providing them with the right tools like extended planning time, more opportunities for career development, and the resources necessary to carry out their task. And by making sure that they have data at their fingertips on how the children are learning and how we can understand how we can make success an outcome for every child. Second, the quality of a child's education should not be determined by their zip code. Every school in every state needs to hold their students to rigorous internationally benchmarked standards that prepare them for college or careers. Third, there are districts and schools across the country seeing incredible success after years of stagnant results. These schools were given room to innovate. They kept their focus on achieving the highest levels and holding themselves accountable for all students. We must encourage states and districts to innovate and to think differently while maintaining high standards for all. Lastly, we have to ensure that we're reaching every student with the right resources in every classroom. Secretary Duncan, you have said repeatedly that our students get one chance at an education, one chance. I think the President's blueprint lays an important markers for where we begin this rewrite. I will help build the kind of it will help build the kind of world-class school system our economy needs and our children deserve. Secretary Duncan, again, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your leadership and for your vision, and I look forward to your testimony.